moment, my fate written, I'm chosen. Other spirits fall, but mine has ceased to be broken. You stripping down my pride, but I'm my only opponent. And lately I abide, but limitless I've awoken. So let me show you that everything I sacrificed mattered. All that blood, sweat, tears that I scattered. All that fake talk, fear that you splattered. Push me to right here, a new chapter.
Here now, waiting for the flag to fall. Here now, cutting through the rolling fog. You know you need it. It's so close, I feel it. Here now, this is the moment.
One too many times, the shots that y'all are taking. One too many times that I've been stuck patient on my downfall. Antidote seeking while I was vacant, but the crown falls simply to those who try to take it. One shot to get two paid and my three wet like lemonade. 4 times and I step back just to reload and I let it spray. This is everything that I need, everything that I wanted, everything that I bleed. This is victory and I got it, cause I'm
Here now, waiting for the flag to fall. Here now, cutting through the rolling fog. You know you need it. It's so close, I feel it. Here now, this is the moment.
right here, right now, right now.
Now, waiting for the curtain call. Here now, this is the moment.
Welcome to Rock Around the Clock. Daily cloud gaming news live at the same time, Monday to Friday. But first, if you're new to the show, please subscribe and hit the bell. If you'd like to support the channel, why not hit the join button on the channel homepage and become a member of Team Rokk. Oh, I hate that bit, always catches me out. Happy Friday! How are you? We got it here, guys. We made it to the end of the week. Woohoo! I think it's pretty awesome, isn't it? Hope you've had, or are having, or will have a great Friday. I saw my mummy and my daddy today. I haven't seen them for a little while. They've been shielding because they got exposed to a couple of people with COVID and they are high risk. So they've been away. I haven't been able to go and see them and get my hair cut. Thanks, Mummy. She does a lovely job on my bonts. I hope you guys are well. It's Friday. It's members only draw day. So although you can indeed enter !win, it won't do you much good because if you're a member, you're in. And if you're not, you ain't. It's simple as that. In fact, I shouldn't even have run the win, but you know, you guys love it. It's like Pavlov's dog. You're like, let's get it in. Woohoo! That's the way it works, fellas. But yes, how are you? What have you been up to? Do you know, the one thing that I was thinking, I was watching someone else's stream last night, actually, at a ridiculous time. It was 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was a developer that had some new features being launched for some software that I used. And I happened to find myself up in the near vicinity of the time they were going live. So I kind of forced myself to stay awake because, oh, God, man. And I'm so tired. But he did a thing and I thought, yeah, we never do that. He said, so tell me in the chat, where where you are from or where you are today. And I know where some of you are from. And, you know, obviously some of you are from all over the place. We've got some great friends in Germany, in Europe. We've obviously got a load of friends in America, which is amazing. And we've got a few guys as well in England, Leicestershire. So wherever you're from, whatever particular country, put country, comma, state, county, region. Really great to know. And it's good for me because then in the future, I'll think, oh, yes, Alex from Mexico, for example. So it's all good fun, isn't it? So just saying hello to you all lovely folk. You've all been banging away with the exclamation mark win, only to realise that it don't matter, because if you remember, you're there anyway. And let me know how the video's looking. I'm getting told by the system that there's a drop in frames, but there shouldn't be. No reason for one. So let me know if it's looking okay. Just a little bit of a shuffle around here. I've put the on air up on the wall there. You can't see what's going on over here behind the clock. It's all looking very pretty. Cheshire in the UK. Oh, here we go. This is what I love. So Eddie's in Cheshire, which is on, it's kind of mid-west, I would say. So west, middle up and middle northwest. So kind of around Liverpool to Manchester way, if I'm correct with my geography. Joe is in Boston, Massachusetts. Oh, fantastic. Of course, the Bee Gees wrote a song about Massachusetts, didn't they? Oh, did you hear that, guys? William has put, bless him, William has gone and donated $2 among us with the community after Rokk join us. Oh, are you? You're among us with the community, the game. I'm with you now, dude. Among us. Oh, bless you, my friend. Thank you so much for the donazione. Much appreciated. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, brother. Let me see who else we got. Adam is in the house. Of course, we know Adam. You're in New Jersey, aren't you? Or certainly New Yorkish way. The video looks great. Thank you, Joe. I thought it looked okay as well, but OBS has settled down now. It's no longer saying it's dropping frames, so it was probably just a little glitchy poos. And Streamlabs is really impressed with that, William. Thank you so much, my friend. All good, isn't it? Eddie says, correct as usual, Rokk. I'm about an hour from both. Yeah, it's kind of midway, isn't it? It's I know it's where a lot of the well-minted footballers live, isn't it? Whether they're Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Everton, they all kind of congregate around Cheshire. Yep, New Jersey now. I lived in New York City for my first 30 years or about. Still have family there. I've said it before, but the East Coast, strictly speaking, Florida, which is where I've probably been the most, as a lot of folk have in the States. Strictly. Woohoo! Now, there's no reason at all, Streamlabs, why you're not showing up above. It's lovely to get the music, the audio, but I don't know why Streamlabs is hiding. Let me see if I can get Streamlabs to go full screen. But that was basically Granite T-Rock's been a member for 3 months. Thank you so much, my friend. Let me just do a quick full screen. Here we go. Fit to screen. Hopefully that will solve it. I'll just lock that in. We shall see. I do. Hey, Ant, New Jersey. You just summoned a new Jersey boy. The Jersey boy. Is that where you're from, Ant, as well? That side of the world. But yeah, I've been to Florida loads of times, so I have, technically speaking, been on the East Coast, but of course it's kind of southern east, isn't it? And I want to do mid-east and northeast, so I want to do the whole state of New York. I wouldn't even mind getting over to Chicago and then making my way up into Canada, up to Toronto and so on. I'd love to do all that. I really would. I promised my business partner, who's been with me for the thick end of about 20 years now, and I've said this to you before, he worked for me before then, so I've known him for, it's got to be 25 plus years. But I always said to him, that I one day we'll hire a car or an RV or a Summit, and we'll do a whole coast to coast in the States, because both of us are huge Americophiles, and we both have. He's really up on US politics. I am to a degree. I know what's going on. I know what's going on today with McCarthy in the House and Ben Bow, whatever her name is, and that little group of 30 rebel rights who are sticking out to bring in anybody but McCarthy. They've just got a huge self-destruct button on their foreheads, haven't they? There's nothing great about McCarthy, but they're just doing it to be what they are, which is a shame for Americans, because you want your committees and your stability in your house to be sorted and everything else. My country is a shit show. And of course, yep, Dad Plays Games. Sweden is a country I have always wanted to visit. Yeah, that's where my good friend Bjorn lives. Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden, born and raised, and a creative powerhouse as well. It's absolutely brimming. I think Bjorn said on Rock Players last night, there's something like 8,000 game developers. 8,000 game developers in Sweden. It's insane. Some of the biggest companies, some of the biggest games come out of Sweden. I think it's amazing. Hopefully you guys can hear the music. I'll just turn up a little bit. I'm getting a bit of crackling today, and we're not talking pork either. Something wrong with my headset maybe. But I'm loving this. This is great. Rock, we consider Florida the East Coast. Yeah, well, it is. Technically, it is. And I'm moving from New Jersey to Florida. Oh, okay. Well, beware, my friend. It's not only full of alligators, but very old right-wingers as well. And some very dodgy politics, but each to their own. But having said that, of course, climate's gorgeous. I've been to Florida, oh, crikey, probably half a dozen times, and we've done Disney a few times, but equally my wife and I, before my girls were born, we did a trip down from top of Florida to the very end, down into the Keys. We stopped off in the Everglades on the way down, did one of those great boats with the fans on the back. I forgot what they're called now. That was amazing. Everglades City, believe it or not, which was really no more than a few sheds and an alligator park. And then we went down and we stopped off at some houses of the famous, like Henry Ford's house and Thomas Edison's house, and sort of had a look around there. And then we went down to the Keys. And when we were down at the Keys, there'd recently been, because I think it was around the end of September coming into it. No, actually it was October, because the week after they had Halloween. But there'd been huge storms, and so it was palm leaves and throngs, or whatever they're called everywhere. Not thongs. There may have been thongs. I mean, I don't know. Whatever anybody gets up to down in Florida. But but I love it. And we've also done the West Coast as well. So I've got family around San Diego, so we've been there. We've been to San Fran a couple of times. I loves me San Francisco. Love it there. We've done LA. We travelled once between LA and San Francisco, stayed a couple of places overnight. Where else? Seattle, Hawaii, and I know it's not America, but we went up to Vancouver as well once. So, but the middle bit we've missed, and the sort of top, and that's the bit that I want to cover. I really do. I desperately want to do that. So I can't see it being this year, but it could be. You never know. But certainly in the next couple of years, I'm desperate to get up there. Come on, guys, stop being shy. Cloud validation, the Midwest is the best. What part? CV? Which part of the Midwest? Elucidate. Elaborate. Inform. TGIF. Absolutely, my friend. TGIF indeed. Thank you so much, Granite Tea Rock, by the way, for being with us for 3 months. That's amazing. Thank you, dude. Today, of course, is Members Only Friday. So our good friend there, Granite, is in the draw. The draw for members on Fridays isn't just a game. Every single prize is a gaming bundle. They're all themed and they're all named. So, for example, and I'm looking up because I've added them all into the wheel, fellas. You know, I said yesterday that I wasn't sure if I'd do a game spin, but I decided I would because although there's loads of games, there's like some bundles have 4, some bundles have 2, but they all have a name. For instance, we have a horror bundle, we have a zombie bundle, we have orcs, men and chaos bundle, we have a handy games triple bundle, we have creepy tales, we've got Riptide, we've got where are we? There's a great one that's like skateboards and bikes and stuff. All sorts. Abe's. We've got an Abe's Exodus bundle. Loads. So the winner will get a bundle of games. Sometimes they're a game with DLCs. Other times they are just disparate games, but they come under like the horror bundle. So it's going to be good. We're going to be doing that towards the end of the show. Hey, Vet, how are you, my friend? Good to see you, dude. Hope you're keeping well, buddy. Hope you are very, very well. Vet is moving to North Carolina. Yeah, and the rest of the South I've never done, and I'd like to do that as well, Vet. I was just talking about where I've been in the States, and I just want to spend a long time traveling around America. I love it. I love the country. I always have done since I was a very small boy. And my mum and dad, they got us used to traveling because what my dad used to do, he was kind of a self-taught bricklayer, and what he would do is he would buy. He worked really hard, made some decent money, enough money to buy a plot of land, and then he'd move us on there in a kind of caravan trailer, and then he'd build the house. We'd move in and we'd live there for a year, and he'd sell it and buy another plot of land. That's how we did, and because of that, we got to live in loads of places. I worked out once. I don't know how many schools I've been to, but we've lived in thick end of 20 different houses in my not now. I mean, since I've been married, I've lived in 3. But as a boy, so I got to travel. Traveling is in my genes, and I love it. I get restless living in one place for too long. So getting a car out or an RV or something and traveling around the States, 100%. Rock around the block does US. It'll happen one day. North Carolina, love it. Florida has a lot of Canadian snowbirds. Yeah, and we have them over here as well. We get a lot of Canadian geese making their way down, keeping nice and warm in the winter and then going back up in the summer. Of course, lots of flamingo as well and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely stunning. Who have I missed up here? Let me have a look. No, I think we've kind of covered it all. There's not a lot of news today. I could literally tell you it all right now. The biggest piece of news is that LG have announced, Samsung kind of doubled down on their gaming hub a couple of weeks ago. Well, LG of course have come back fighting, and they've announced a big upgrade to their gaming hub, a big upgrade to the platforms that you'll be able to play in their cloud gaming hub, and that you will be able to play natively GeForce Now in 4K if you are an Ultimate member. So you won't need a Shield Pro. Up until now, if you wanted to do the 4K route via your TV, yes, you can install the app on the TV, but it's fixed at 1080p. Not so anymore. LG are rolling out an update that will allow you to go down the 4K road, which is amazing. Hey, look at that, Barclay. Thank you so much, dude. €3. Awesome. As a super chat, you've got Little Rock there giving you a thumbs up. And more importantly, the stream thing's working over the top of there. It was hidden away by the looks. Thank you so much, brother. Really appreciate that. Barclay, which part of Germany are you in, my friend? We're just kind of getting to know each other more, where we all live. I know that you're in Germany. At least I think you're in Germany. And we're sort of saying what states and the counties or the regions that we live in. Yep, LG, my C1 will be happy. Yeah, I've got a C8, which I still, to be honest with you, Winstar, I was all set to get myself a new TV this year. Actually, the end of last year. And then I thought to myself, it's OLED, it's 4K 60, which is as much as I can play from GeForce Now, 4K, and PS5, Xbox Series X. It looks fantastic. It's got an amazing... I just thought, what are you doing, mate? Are you getting suckered into that whole 120 hertz thing? You don't need it. I do miss not having the gaming hub, but then I've got my Shield Pro. I've got my little Chromecast, so I don't really need. So I decided I'd put it on hiatus, and instead I want to get myself a new laptop. So I'll put my money into that, I think. But yes, if you have got the C1 or any of the newer LGs, that's certainly something to look forward to. Nuremberg, there you go. Always good to hold a rally in Nuremberg. Oh, God, mate. Come on, Rokk. It's 70 years ago, dude. I'm sorry. It came to my head. Never been. I've never been to Germany, but Germany's another country that I'm fascinated with, and a hugely industrious, enterprising people, amazing engineers, process-driven, just a country that I desperately want to... the trouble with being a Brit is we tend to always head out to the Mediterranean, which is gorgeous, don't get me wrong. I love Spain, Portugal, Italy, some of the islands like Menorca, Mallorca, Gran Canaria, fantastic places. But I know I've missed so much, getting over to Denmark, to the Netherlands, to Germany. We've done a lot of Italy, north, south, and in the middle, because I mentioned to you before, my brother-in-law's got a place down in southern Italy. So, we're very familiar with Italy. Love Italy, love it. But there's so much of the world. I want to do so much more of the world. Hey, Nerf, how are you, bro? Royalty in the house, ladies and gents. It's young Bryant. Hey, how are you, my friend? Happy New Year to you, sir. It's a rare treat to have you in the chat. What a fantastic thing. Of course, you just get my large head, so my apologies for that. But it does come resplendent with a new chopped hairdo today, courtesy of my mummy. Who is, I have to say, a trained barber stroke hairdresser. So it's not a complete hatchet job, bless her. Oh no, look at that. Someone, quick, pay the bills. That's better. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're keeping well. I hope 23 does amazing things for you and yours. And of course, the ongoing success of your channel. Bless you. Hey, Rokk Show. Are you into VR? And what's your thoughts on the upcoming PSVR 2? My thoughts on the upcoming PSVR 2, Ant, are I've already paid for it, mate. It's pre-ordered. My cash is gone. It's out of the bank. And it's due to arrive in Feb. So I have the PSVR, the first one. But it's kind of accumulating dust in the garage. Because I don't know if you remember me saying this before, but it went up in smoke. Not least of which, I kind of got a little bit of a kind of a Pavlovian thing. Initially, for the first sort of minute, I was fine with it, and I loved it. And then after a while, I started getting a little bit kind of nauseous, and then it became Pavlovian. So I'd look at it and think, should I play some? I'd start to feel icky, even without putting it on. I'm really hoping, because the PSVR 2 is a grade up in resolution, it's going to like 4K per eye or something ridiculous, using really clever technology, which only optimizes where you are directly looking. So it's able to process the image to get that 4K whilst leaving everything in your peripheral vision at a much lower resolution. So instead of the whole thing being 4K, which if you think about that is a hell of a bit of processing work, it's only what you see, and as you move your eyes around, it will process that area. Clever as anything, that's just genius. But yeah, cash has already been spent now. I spent that a little while ago, actually. When they announced the pre-order, I did put my hand up, but I had to wait until they opened it the second time around. But yeah, amazing. I'm well up for that. Amazing wine, great wine, says Tracy. I'm assuming, well, you could be talking Florida, to be fair. And you could be talking Midwest, but I'm assuming you're talking German, like the Rieslinger. I love those German wines, the crisper. Not anymore, I don't drink, but when I did used to drink, if I ever had a glass of wine, it was the light whites, the German whites, that I think I like the most. So yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure. Alex, how are you, my friend? Now, Alex, if I'm right, Alex, please tell me if I'm wrong, is in Mexico. So we're just trying to establish, Alex, where everybody is today. And not just the country, but which part of the country as well. Just great to get a feel for where everybody is. Christopher's in the house as well. How are you, Christopher? I'd love to know where you are, my friend. Of course, you're listening, and I respect you and love you for it, my friend. Thank you so much. Correct, says Alex. So, Alex, tell me, which part of that massive and beautiful country? Chihuahua in Mexico. Fantastic. It's another country I desperately want to get to. So many different places in the world. Tropical UK, Robert. Which part of tropical UK, my friend? I'm down on the southwest coast. Just a hop, skip and a jump from Dartmoor and Torbay, Exmouth, that part of the world, which actually, to be fair, as far as the UK goes, is about as tropical as it gets. But I love, which part of our beautiful isle, our sceptred isle, do you reside in, my friend? Gorgeous. Italian wine is amazing. Yes, it is. Let's be honest, if you like wine and it's commercially available, unless it's like $2 a bottle, it's all pretty good, isn't it? Are you a red or a white? I'm going to have you, Demi, as a red, as a lover of red wine. I'll put you down as a red. Shipston, near Stratford in Warwickshire. Beautiful part of the world. Of course, the home of the bard, Shakespeare himself. Been there myself many a time, seen a few of the old plays. Of course, the play that you mustn't mention if you're an actor, but I will because I'm not, Macbeth. I've seen a few, Tempest. It's a gorgeous part of the world. Love travelling up there. And the thing I love, Robert, when I get out of my county of Devon, is suddenly you can see for miles. Devon is this kind of, everyone loves Devon, but we have these 12-foot hedgerows and these 1-car wide lanes. If you are in any way claustrophobic, Devon's going to get you. And the minute I get out of the county and I can see across the fields, and I love it. Love it. We're getting some fantastic folks joining us today. Thank you guys so much. Let me see. We have young David. Gotta love a cheeky red. Absolutely. Sitting Bull. I wasn't really the place. That was really not a good place to go, was it? David is in the northeast of England. And I would be able to tell you the exact town, but it's just dropped out of my head. But it's the town. Is it Accrington? Is it Accrington where you're from? That's Manchester side, isn't it? That's the other side. I know it's where Stan Laurel hailed from. You're going to tell me in a second anyway. Fields and hills as far as the eye can see. That's my point, Robert. I am so jealous, my friend, because I am a wide open spaces kind of guy. That's what I love when we go up to Scotland or even out to Dorset or Cornwall, which is our kind of second home, really. We go to Cornwall a lot. I just love it. Get out of Devon and you can see stuff. I know I don't want to put you off coming to Devon, but bear in mind, it's very quaint while you're here, but you can't wait to get out of it. Primo, of course, bless you, Primo, is currently residing in Hawaii, but comes from Mexico. Which part of Mexico are you from, Primo? We've established that Alex is in Chihuahua. And I know that you're obviously in Hawaii right now, but I'd love to know your origin story. Which part of Mexico? Is Eddie? Eddie is in, Alston or something. Yes, Alston. I think you're right. I think it's, Bishop Auckland, land of the Prince Bishops. Waiaiman. But that's where, isn't Stan Laurel from Alston? I'm going to Google this because I think you're right. Stan Laurel, born in... What do you mean? Ulverston. Very, very close. It was almost that song, isn't it? Ulverston, old Ulverston. Yeah, 16th of June, 1890. Dear old bless him. So he would now be, 132, 33 years old. Wowzer. Yeah, he wouldn't have come this far, would he? Do you know that that the oldest... There's a kind of cut-off point with humans. We never get above a certain age. I think it's 125. Nobody ever goes above that age. which is amazing. But yeah, there you go. Stan Laurel, born Arthur Stanley Jefferson. That was his original name. 16th of June, 1890 to the 23rd of Feb, 1965. So he was 75 when he died. English comic actor, writer and film director who was one half of the comedy duo. Absolutely passionate about Laurel and Hardy. I have been my entire life. I have a box set behind me of all of their works. He appeared with his comedy partner Oliver Hardy in 107 short films, feature films and cameo roles. Absolutely stunning. And there is that beautiful statue that depicts my two heroes there as well. But here you go. David's from Bishop Auckland. Same kind of area, though. Tracy says, David Wilson and Demigoddess of Gaming. I don't know much about wine, but I do like a nice red. That's just the right amount of dry and a wee bit spicy. That's interesting. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? There are worse places than Devon, my friend. Oh, there most certainly are. I'm not complaining. Except for the hedgerows. That's the complaint over. No, I mean, the gorgeous thing about Devon, and Cornwall for that matter, is, we have north and south coasts. So what's interesting about that, and I know that there are a lot of places, you could go from one side, the west or to the east, but it's a fair trek for most. But we can go north and south in a couple of hours, hour and a half tops. And at the north, on the north coast, it's a lot stormier, a lot more waves and tempestuous. Gorgeous if you're into surfing, for example. Whereas the south coast is a lot calmer, so great if you're just wanting a little bit of a sunbathe or a lounging out. We've got it all. And right in the middle we have Dartmoor and Exmoor, so you can go through the moors. And of course, if you've seen my Rock Around the Block on Hay Tour, a little bit of background info there on your moors, your Devonshire moors. Argentinian Malbec Red, says Robert. I love Italian, biased due to heritage. Broglia. I mentioned earlier, Robert, you may not have been here. I've spent a lot of time in Italy. It's one of my favourite places. In fact, Tropea, which is down on the southwest coast of Italy, Tropea, Calabria. It's my second home. It's my second spiritual home outside of Britain. My brother-in-law has some places down there, and we've spent so many amazing. I just love it. It's unlike anywhere else. It's just not touristy. It's where Italians go in August when they shut the country down, and so you get a real beautiful taste of southern Italy, which of course wasn't Italy until about 100 and something years ago. Before that, it was occupied by all sorts, from Germans to Moors, all sorts of different nations. Finally being patriated into the Italian nation at the end of the 19th century, I believe, although I'm absolutely happy to be corrected on that. But gorgeous, famous for their red onions, for their andouille sausage, those amazing puddings that are like a chocolate ball, like a bomb, and they have ice cream in the centre. Oh, I love it there. I was hoping we were going back this year, but I found out at Christmas that I haven't got it. I love it there. What have we got? Yep, he was born in Ulverston, but raised in Bishop. There you go. Thank you, David. Appreciate that, my friend. So David is convinced, he has been told by family, that he actually has Stan Laurel as a relative. And I don't know how many removed and all that stuff, David, but you really should do some genealogy, do some Ancestry.com stuff. Get yourself one of those free 2-week subscriptions to Ancestry.com and see if you can follow it back and find exactly what the connection is with Stan. Because I think that would be amazing to do. So Primo is from Michigan, 2 hours south of Guadalajara and Jalisco. Or is that how you pronounce that, my friend? Jalisco? There you go. I didn't know that there was another place called Michigan. Do you pronounce it Michigan? See, I hear some people pronounce Michigan as in North American Michigan. Some people pronounce it as Michigan and others as Michigan. And my guess is it's probably Michigan. But all this stuff fascinates me, as you can probably hear. Does that Ancestry actually work? Yeah, it works. Absolutely, it works. Because the way it works is you plug in your own data. Okay, so I've done it for both my maternal and my paternal lineage, and on my dad's side, his grandparents came from Eastern Europe, so we can go so far, but they were Jews. And the great thing about the Jewish community is that they, because of the Holocaust, they keep immaculate records on family genealogy, so you can find huge amounts of information out. But I followed them, and then on my mum's side, it actually becomes quite posh. They go off to kind of stately homes and stuff. But yeah, you basically plug in your birth details, your mother and father, the details that you have of their brothers and sisters, of their parents. And what happens is Ancestry.com starts to say to you, well, we know that other people have said that they're related to your parents, so you plug those in. It's like a massive jigsaw, and you ultimately end up with this map. Some of the stuff you have to think about, because I've gone back to 1500s, I think, when I've done it. And then you get really woolly at that point. Kind of, is it, isn't it? Are they related? Are they not related? And a lot of it depends on other people and what they've sort of guesstimated. But definitely do it, my friend. And you can. They give you like a 2 weeks free trial. And even if you decide not to pay for it, which I wouldn't, it's quite expensive, you can still access all the information. You just can't edit it, I think. So definitely one to do. You can do everything you need in that fortnight without a shadow of a doubt. Dad Plays Games. Bjorn Naples was in a personal union with Aragon in the 1500s, if I remember correctly, when playing Castile in EU4. Marrying into Aragon, then integrating them, and Naples makes for a nice Mediterranean superpower. Oh, it was all going on, my friend, between South Europe and North Africa for sure. That's the cradle of civilization, at least as far as your out of Africas meet your Northern Europeans. And I personally still think the jury is out. They're finding out new information all the time on the Young Dryas period. Younger Dryas, which is about 12,500 years ago, I believe. They're finding, new information all the time about what came before then. Because, most of the history that we have is based on archaeological supposition and only goes back as far as Romans. And then a lot of that Roman history, there is some Babylonian and some Sumerian and so on. But most of that Roman stuff is tainted by their own recollections and their own biases. Same thing with post-Roman, the kind of medieval monks and the stuff they wrote, again, was very much predicated on their own their own beliefs and what they thought about the people like the Nordics, for example, that popped over from time to time and nicked their stuff. Now, although it says you can no longer enter the draw, it is members only today anyway, guys. So only members will be entered. I got my wife's ancestry, says Anne, for her birthday last year. It's so much fun, Anne, isn't it? I actually went as far as having a DNA test through Ancestry.com. I was disappointed, though. It didn't really tell me anything we didn't already know. The only thing that was interesting was that was a strong connection with Ireland, which, by the way, I've been twice to Dublin. Just a gorgeous country. Beautiful people. And, interestingly enough, with Scandinavia as well. So potentially Bjorn and I may share some blood. We may have some genes in parallel. Bjorn says, my mother's cousin did research before Ancestry.com existed, and we were farmers or sailors from the 1600s. Before that, we were apparently nobles in Prussia or Prussia. I'm not too sure. I've not come across that word before. Do you mean Prussia? When part of it was Swedish. I assume you mean Prussia, because that was kind of what we now know as Russia, wasn't it? Only it spilled out into, as you rightly said, Scandinavia, and much closer across in parts of Germany and so on, which I think is maybe you guys spell it with the E. I'm familiar with it without the E in there. David, I'll have to try that. I'm not sure how much I'll figure out. Honestly, it's so easy, as I don't have a lot of info. If you have at least got your mum and dad, and you know where they were born, etc., it will start to recommend data that it already has. You'd be surprised, David, how many other people that you've never heard of have been doing ancestry and connecting up with people that you know. I've had people approach me from Australia, from Canada, because we could see when we did ours a lot of, bearing in mind that on my dad's side, they either, from his mother's side, they came from Eastern Europe, but his father's side were very, very long-standing Devonians from the same region of Devon, where they were technically cowboys. They managed local herds. And you had a lot of folk that went off to America and Canada, especially around sort of 1840s, 1850s, when there was a collapse in tin mining, for example, or in Ireland, indeed, when there was the potato famine. And a lot of them went to Eastern, to New York and to Eastern America. So a lot of that stuff's there, and you'd be surprised, making the connections fascinating. Joe says there's a castle in my family name called Castle Lochlan. That will be in Scotland. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to visit. I may even have been there, my friend. I've been to Scotland a few times. We have family around Inverness, which is a hop, skip and a jump from Loch Ness, of course, home of the fabled monster. And that's amazing. In fact, I love going up there. I love Scotland, full stop. Again, one of my favourite places in the world. But Loch Ness is just stunning, and George, the kind of cousin, I think he's a cousin, or I don't know how you would have it. It's a cousin of my wife's mother. He used to repair all the old ancient monuments and things, and he worked on Urquhart Castle, which is that old castle monument that you see on the shores of Loch Ness. And he's taken me there in the past as well. Absolutely stunning place. My home state, this is Primo, is pronounced Michoacan. Michoacan. So not Michigan or Michigan, Michoacan. Brilliant, thank you. Primo, have you ever done any DNA stuff? It's fascinating because, of course, a lot of South Americans have both the indigenous old world South American blood mixed with the new world Spaniards that came across and essentially brought their brand of alcoholism, herpes and genocide. So you tend to find a lot of people in South America will have that kind of mix of blood. And you can often see it as well, can't you? You can often see, if you go to places like Peru, and you can see that old world look of the indigenous Peruvians, and then as you kind of move out, you start to see the European blend as well, Spanish, and obviously latterly other forms of European interjection, very much across Europe eventually. Predator D, how are you, my friend? If you pass through Italy, let me know. We can have a bit. He lives in Como near Milan, but a trip to Calabria, oh mate, definitely 100%. Well, as I said, I was hoping to get out there this year. I just adore it. We've done the lakes as well, which I guess Lake Como. So yeah, we've done the northern lakes. Just everywhere I've ever been in Italy has just been stunning. I adore the country, and I also love. It's a personal thing. Wherever I go in the world, I always try and learn as much of the language as I can possibly cram into my little head for the time I'm there. I just feel, I've said this before, I just think that it's hugely respectful to try and at least express myself in the local language, rather than try and just assume that you guys speak English. And I know American English is now the international language, but it's kind of not the point for me. I remember when we went to Turkey, which is a language all of its own, And, you know, we learned, I met a friend who had remained friends to this day, funnily enough. Met him out there. Sadly, his wife died fairly recently, a couple of years ago. But as a family, they remained great friends. And he and I hit it off and learned as much Turkish as we could. And we were it was almost like a personal competition to see how much we could learn. And we were holding amazing conversations come the end. I always think particularly if you're younger, in fairness, but I think if you're in situ, you know, if you're actually in the country and you learn all the local words, and you can do it really quickly, you can learn enough to get by. And if you really try hard, I think it's sad when people move, they emigrate to a country. So there's a huge influx, for example, of elderly Brits to Spain. Not so much anymore, thanks to our Brexit friends. But a lot of them would live in these little English communities and they'd never step outside. And I just think that's so disrespectful, you know. Anyway, that's what it is. That's what they are. Demigod has forgot about 23andMe. Thanks for the recommendation. We'll have to try them both. I did see it up here. 23andMe had better results for me than Ancestry.com. Oh, that's interesting. I've only ever seen Ancestry.com. We did have a lady that used to work for me a few years ago. Her mum was like an amateur genealogist, and we actually paid her to do my dad's genealogy, and very interesting, you know, stuff about his father, and when he spent his time in World War One in Europe, and he was gassed twice. I've mentioned this before, but yeah, a bit of a hero, but yeah, it's got to be done, guys. Especially if you can get the free account, way more specific than that's just 23andMe. I wonder if that's available. 23andMe. I wonder why it's called that even. Is that available in the UK? 23andMe. Oh, it's Amazon. See, I've personalised DNA. No, I didn't know this. Oh, of course, 23 is chromosomes, isn't it? Oh, blimey. It's not cheap. They do it from the UK. There's one that's a very similar price. Yeah, the one I had from Ancestry.com was I wouldn't recommend it. The detail was like not great. I wasn't impressed. Rock Show, are you telling me that Nessie isn't real? Mate, I would never, and I never mentioned, I just said Nessie was the famous Nessie. I never said it wasn't real, but there's been some amazing research done recently that basically shows that Loch Ness seems to have an undercurrent. So you have what you can see, and then it has this undercurrent that appears to come in the opposite direction. So occasionally it creates these really weird ripples that, you know, form a shape of a undulating creature. But also, the year that I was born, let me get this right because I want to get the guy's name. 1967, if you want to know, and Loch Ness. Let me get his name here. Killed. Get this right. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna come to me. Sorry. There was Donald Campbell. Here we go. Donald Campbell. So in January '67, 10 days before I was born, actually, Donald Campbell attempted to break the world speed record on water. I forget what was it called? Bluebird. Just pull it up on Wikipedia here. I think his boat. Anyway. Bluebird. There you go, Bluebird. I remembered. What happened was, unexpectedly, it just disintegrated, and they didn't know why. And then now, after this research, they reconstructed, using computers, and this is when they discovered that it has this kind of opposing undercurrent. And they think that this is what happened. So Bluebird's going along on the surface at 200 and whatever miles an hour, 257 kilometers an hour, 160 miles an hour. And of course it gets caught up in this undercurrent, which is going in two different directions, and just ripped it apart at that speed. And they think that this is, it's not unique, but it's incredibly rare, and that's probably what has created all of these sightings over the years. And of course, some of them are just sticks, and some of them are famously faked as well. But it's created a massive tourist industry for that part of Scotland, so of course it exists. What do we got here? Allegedly, says Bjorn, indeed. Of course, Sweden. Sweden has its own share of Loch Ness-like monsters because it has massive fjords and lakes and things, the whole of Scandinavia. So, they have their own, and Bjorn will bore you silly about some of the creatures and the monsters. And of course, we've got famous trolls and all the kind of stuff that really came, sort of formed all of those ancient Nordic songs and sagas and stories, and then got adopted, more throughout Europe. Because don't forget, the Vikings, what Britain, England, Britannia was invaded in 1066. And that was actually from the Normans, and the Normans were the Norsemen, the Northmen. They'd come down as Vikings and essentially occupied France, and were given northern France by the French king just to kind of appease them and get them off his back. So the Normans and the Norman conquest was really just a properly successful attempt by the Vikings to take over Britain when they had only been able to take over parts of it before. Fascinating history. We, my friends, are going to have to get going over to the old rock wheel of Thingy Bob in a second to get you guys a prize. We're 5 minutes to the hour. It's a great conversation we've had today. You see, by you guys telling me where you are, it sparked off all sorts of stuff. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Just want to make sure the wheels are in there. Yes, the wheels are there. They're looking really good. Where am I? Let me get myself here. That's me. Let's move myself over. That's better. And the same for that one as well. Let me get that one ready. We're going to go over, guys. And spin a voo. So let's ditch this music, which is starting to get a bit... Here we are. We can chill out a bit now with the old Wheel of Fortune music. As I always say on a Friday, if you have joined Team Rokk while we've been live on air, can you let me know? I will validate, so don't be cheeky, because you won't be on the wheel, and I will add you to the wheel if that's the case. Because some folks go, oh, flip, I didn't realise that Team Rokk has its own draw on a Friday where only Team Rokk members get an amazing bundle of PC games, and I like to remind you. Oh, here we go now. Demi says, my DNA came back Italian, Lithuanian, Native American Spanish. What an amazing concoction. So Lithuania is where my ancestors come from as well. So we share some of that. There you go. That's Eastern Europe. When they came across my ancestors, it was all part of the whole Greater Russia at that time. But there you go. Demi, you and I have shared DNA. There you go. They have their own website, Rokk. Who do? Oh yes, 23andMe, do they? I'll check them out after. I'm not in the market for buying another one, but I may do at some point. I'd like to get a second opinion. I wasn't overly impressed with Ancestry.com. You want me to say aluminium as opposed to aluminum, right, Tracy? But actually, you guys spell it aluminum, though, don't you? I mean, aluminium is spelled the same way that we call it as well. Happy to do the anglicised versions of any words. That I do think there's some American words, though, and some American phrases that are better suited to contemporary English. For example, you guys say dove, as in I dove into the sea. We say dived. However, we say drove, as in I drove home, which of course is kind of very similar. The thing is very similar. I actually think dove into the sea is better than dived. So I think, we're becoming more, it's kind of homogenous. It's kind of melding and blending more that sort of, traditional English and contemporary American English. It's happening. And that's not a bad thing. because that's how languages have evolved everywhere. So why not? It's not an issue at all. But I've always thought dove makes more sense. I still say dived, having said that, but I'm with you. Primo, I am 40% indigenous, 30% Spanish. There you go. 17% South Saharan African. So I'm guessing that would have come from slaves at some point, African slaves, Primo. There's a lot of, obviously, a huge amount of Spanish had a massive slave, not great, but a huge slave trade going on as well. So I'm guessing there's probably that's probably where that came into the family. My dad, when he was younger, had virtually had an afro, very thick black, tight curls, and a very dark olive skin. And we've always maintained that there's almost certainly some of that in there as well. But when I did the DNA, it didn't show up, which is weird. And it's not to suggest that it should do, simply because of, the way he may have looked. But we were expecting some Southern Europe at least, and it didn't. I'd like to do a proper one there. Best English phrase has to be the Australian saying, "I'm not here to spiders." Never heard that one before, Bjorn. And I don't know that I will ever say it anyway. Rock, you forgot to put my extra 10 tries on the wheel. Yeah, nobody's getting any extra tries. Each member gets one. I just for fun thought I'd throw it out there. One thing I find quite peculiar about some American accents, says David, is that many of them all say Mary, marry, and merry the exact same way. Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing as well. No matter where you go in the States, there are a myriad of different ways of saying things. If you go to LA, you get the girls with that kind of drawl. They kind of push their voice down deep, which I don't like, I've got to be honest. You hear that more. Yeah, you've got garage and garage. I say garage in the UK. Americans tend to say garage. Yeah, the old Bjorn, in the end, the Vikings did win, my friend, and of course they never got overrun by the Romans either. Hat off to you guys. Just obviously got bored in those long winter months. We were saying this last night, weren't we? You just kind of are a bit bored. Let's go on a raid. Sidewalk versus payment. Oh, there's millions of them. Essentially means well, of course. Well, of course not. Did you drive to hospital? Did you drive to the hospital? Did you drive to hospital? Did you drive to the hospital? I drove to the hospital. That's a good point. That's a good one, Primo. Well pointed. There's so many of them, guys. So many. Oh, Rock. Oh, wow. I didn't know that, Rock. Very interesting. Which part? Which part didn't you know? I've spouted so much stuff. Married and poison is the same word in Swedish. I didn't know that. And of course, Dad plays games. First name is Bjorn. His given name, and in Swedish it means bear. So there you go. Right, guys, let's get a winner going on here, shall we? Let's get down to some business. Where am I? Up here. Right, we're going to choose the member winner, and then we're going to choose the game bundle. Wow! I got the logo in today as well, guys. The new logo for the Rock's Wheel of Fortune. I love this. It's kind of got a Native American feel to it, isn't it? Here we go. Slowing down. We're going past Clive. We're going past Blee Flew Flower. We're going past. It's not me. Well, it is, but it's not my fault. Sedna, 10:30 Media, Geek to Sneak. Is it going to stop on Geek? Is it going to stop? The Simpsons. Now, I know, I don't know if Geek's in the chat today, but I know that he will refuse the prize, because he often does. There's 2 or 3 people, bless them, who say, I genuinely don't need any more games, thank you so much, put it back in the pile. So I tell you what we will do. I don't think Geek's in today. Geek, I know you're not going to mind. I'm going to run the win. I'm going to run it again. And Geek, if you would have minded, let me know, my friend, and I will dish you up with a prize as well. But we're going to do another wheel spin, guys. Here we go. Geek's been automatically taken out, by the way. I love it. What are we guilty of, guys? What am I missing here? Hey, Spinal Prison, what an amazing name. Great to see you. Thanks for popping in. Oh, right, here we go. Who's it going to be this time? Who's going to win today? Don't stop on Rock. I should have shuffled it. Oh, flip and flip. It's going to be Geek to Sneak again. Oh, come on. It's meant to be completely random. I swear to you. No, that makes me look a right idiot. I swear to God. I even read about this the other day. Let me do a shuffle. Because I was thinking to myself, it's not very random. And I read the developers and they said, no, it's really random. Right, I've shuffled them. It's Geek psychically saying, I must have my prize. I must. Oh, no, there's a story involving oh, is it? Spinal Prison. Tell all, my friend. Let us know. I hope it's not a really, really bad one I'm going to feel terrible for. Right, spin it again. I've shuffled them up. That's never happened. I feel so embarrassed. Here we go. What an idiot. He won twice in my stream last time too, said Primo. He's got his rigged. He's got it all rigged. Here we go. It can't be him again, surely. Phil, Barclay, Clive, Laura, Rudix, Dre. It's going to stop when it gets a little bit more. Fans of gamers. Is it going to be Brandon or is it going to be Squids? I think Brandon. There we go. Bless him. So Brandon is today's winner. Fans of gamers who, let me just I'm making a little note, guys. Awesome, right. That's so embarrassing. Let's get over to the game wheel and see what bundle of goodies Brandon's going to win today. Right, here we go, guys. So these, as I've mentioned earlier, these are the names of the bundles of games. Each bundle has between 2 and 4 games. Some of them are like a main game with DLCs, and some of them are different games, but they come under the genre of horror or zombie or racing or whatever. So here they are. We have Warhammer 40,000. That one has 4 in it, by the way. We have Creepy Tales, Cultures, Hex Tones Triple Pack. These are great games. Right, let's, without further ado, spin the wheel. Now that we know who the winner of the bundle is going to be, let's see what he's going to get. Different music. Jack! Rose, let me go, Rose! Jack! Don't leave me, Jack! Oh, we'll go on. A little Titanic moment there, folks. Right, here we go. Enough of the Titanic. Is it going to be Handy Games Triple Pack or is it going to be Dead Age 1 and 2? I think it is. Oh, it's going to be... It's still going. It's going to be Creepy Tales. Yes. There we go. Creepy Tale 1 and 2 double pack. Whoa! Plus a little cameo there from Leonardo DiCaprio and the other one. Well, I've forgotten her name. 1 and 2. Well done, Brandon. He's going to be so chuffed. I shall let him know in a short while that he won those. How cool is that? Lovely jubbly. Did you like that, guys? Let's go back to the welcome screen. Here we are. We're back here now with Young Rock. I hope you enjoyed today's show. It was a little bit different, wasn't it? I love in the chill out, finding out where people are, talking about sort of stuff, a little bit of information, a little bit of fun, and of course the members only draw. There'll be more of this next Friday, guys, don't forget. So members, you've got a good chance of winning one of those bundles because you are members. How cool is that? I'm just going to quickly, great stream as always, Rock. Thank you, my friend. Good to see you all. And you, my dude. Fab show. Thanks, Demi. We're blood family from Lithuania. That was dramatic, said Pup. Yeah, I don't like do anything like, it's you never know. It might be a life-changing game pack, Pup. It might be the thing. It may be just the thing that, defines the rest of your days. You never know. It's, butterflies, China, chaos, and all that stuff. Oh, spinal prison story. My back aches so much I can't move, and it feels like my back spine's trapped. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that. We have a few friends that in William Stadia Pro and Simply Porn Gaming. He joins me on a Tuesday for the Rokk show, and he was doubled up quite literally until he was 18 years old. So he walked around like this instead of like this, with a spinal deficiency, with a spinal issue. Finally got an operation to pin his spine so he could walk upright. And I missed half the story. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, here it is. Nah, it's okay. Actually, when I was a kiddo, I played on a stand swing, got too excited and slipped and fell. Oh no, on hard concrete that was covered up by a thin layer of sand. Once in a while, my back aches so much I can't move, and it feels like, there's nothing worse, is there, than your spine, because it's got your cord. It's literally your entire nervous system taking all of the giving and taking all the nerve responses from the rest of your body. So when that hurts, boy, it hurts. It's like a bodily toothache. Nobody wants that. Either way, Spinal Prison, it's an absolute pleasure to have you join us today. Thank you so much, guys. As always, thank you, dudes. Curly, how are you, my friend? Caught the last 5 minutes, but the excitement level was sky high. We had Titanic. We had native, indigenous Americans. We had the whole thing, and then we got a winner. And that's what it's all about, the fun. My spine is fine. It's my lower back. That's the main issue. Spinal lower back. You should call yourself Lower Back Prison. Didn't sound so catchy. Absolutely. It's all well. Listen, it's lovely to have you join us. Thank you. We are now heading out. It's the end of the show. It's Friday. It's the weekend. What have you got? I should have started by saying, what have you guys got planned? What have I got planned? My daughter goes back to university on Sunday, so we'll be doing a bit of travelling, taking her home. But we get to bring my other daughter's boyfriend back, and he's a chuckle, so we'll have a little laugh. Might try and get out and get some rock around the block stuff. Might even finish off the video that I've already started, get that in the system. And talking of William, Stadia Pro Gaming, he is live and playing Among Us, and he's looking for community to join him. So get yourselves over. I do this every week. Let me see if I can find. Somebody please let me know how I can raid. I want to be able to send folk over to, there he is. He is, I'm going to put the link in the chat so that you can pop over. Show him some love. Say Rokk sent you. Join in as well, the old community thing. They're just getting started. I don't think I've ever played Among Us, actually. So, have yourself some fun. He's got a few folk over there. I've got a few folk over here. Thank you, guys. Particularly thank you to Team Rokk members. You guys are amazing. I genuinely couldn't do this without you. So thank you guys so much. And these giveaways really are in honor of all that you've done for me. So, mwah to you. Have a fantastic weekend. I'm going to get the heck out of here. See you Monday. Take care. Whoop, where am I going? There I go. Look.
We see the world in a cold light. It isn't much, but it's all we needed. It's all we needed. With everything in its right place, we push away 'cause it's all we needed to control and moment. All it takes is a moment. Is it fate that you came this far unbroken? If it's destiny, you wrote it.